Hey, what's up guys, it's Marv and welcome back to another Asphalt 9 video, and today I thought it would be a good time to take a step back and look at the game in general and sort of do a state of the game type video, as I don't think I've done one for a while now. I sort of looked at the game in general when I talked during the 5th year anniversary video, but that was really more of a celebratory thing and just looking over especially esports and all of the fun that we've had over the past 5 years. But today I wanted to do something more analytical and look at the game's biggest problems, especially coming into 2024, because I think a lot needs to change for this game to gain even more success during next year. So I'm going to outline 3 of the biggest issues in my opinion that Asphalt 9 currently has, and my thoughts on it and what we can do to fix it. So in my opinion, one of the biggest issues is cross-platform. Now we know that the developers are working on it, and a very long time ago we heard that it could take a very long time for this feature to be added, but we haven't really heard anything since then, and I will talk about that aspect in a while as well, so stay tuned for that. But in my opinion, we really need cross-platform as soon as possible. And I noticed this while trying to record my latest Koenigsegg Agera RS video, because I was playing the same people over and over again. I believe I talked a little bit about it in that video as well, where I was really getting a lot of 1 versus 1s, especially as I got into Legend League, and overall it just made the enjoyment a lot less for multiplayer, because as soon as I joined a game I knew, okay, this guy has a much better car than I do, or this player is a lot more skilled or a lot less skilled than I am. So it made for an experience that was very repetitive, especially in multiplayer. And when I'm trying to review a car, I really want to get the most accurate depiction of that car across a wide range of situations. So I want to play against the very fast cars, I want to play against the more agile cars, I want to play against high skilled players, I want to play against low skilled players as well. So in order to do that, I need to get a bunch of races in, and in order to do that I need to play a lot of different people. But now, because we still don't have cross-platform, and especially during the early days of multiplayer, you really start to run into the same people over and over again. And of course, you combine that with going to Legend League, and you will just see the same people over and over again. So that is one of the biggest issues I have with the multiplayer experience right now, is just that it can get a little stale. Now, don't get me wrong, I still really enjoy Ghost Slipstream just ripping through the Gold League with the Apollo N. That is just always going to be fun. And of course, once you get to Legend League, actually taking advantage of my SSE Tuatara is still very fun, but I'm still going to see the same people over and over again. And like I mentioned in that Agera RS video, it does help if you wait a while before playing multiplayer. Once a new season starts, eventually you get more players in and the leaderboards start to get stacked up and whatnot. But I don't think a game of this size should really have that issue, especially once cross-platform is implemented. We will have a much bigger player base to play against in multiplayer. So hopefully this will come in the early part of 2024. Again, I think it's really important, especially because it is just a modern feature of most games, and the gamers nowadays just sort of expect cross-platform. So I know really the only issue is going to be, well, iOS and Android sort of makes sense, but how are they going to handle iOS, Android, and Windows, since on Windows you can play with a variety of different control schemes? Now, in my opinion, because this is at its heart a mobile racing game, I don't really think people on keyboard and mouse have that big of an advantage, and of course you can still use a controller on mobile as well. So in my opinion, I don't think there's too much of an issue worrying about balance. I think it's just getting those platforms to talk to each other is going to be the difficult part. So that's cross-platform. I'm sure you guys have heard all about it, and I've seen a lot of you guys ask for it as well. But the next thing I want to talk about is game modes. Now, I have been going on and on since I think the soft launch of this game about how few game modes there are in Asphalt 9. Now, we have seen a couple of what I would call spin-off modes, and not necessarily new game modes. I mean, we had that weird nitro mode where some of the nitro bottles just decreased your max nitro efficiency, and then we had the Looper Prix, which is a spin on the Grand Prix, and in my opinion we had the actual game mode change, which was Slipstream. That, in my opinion, is the most different style of gameplay we have in Asphalt 9 compared to what we can expect as traditional Asphalt gameplay. Now, I made a video about it, I believe, a very, very long time ago, but to sort of recap with the release of Asphalt 9, we saw a lot of game modes just straight up being cut from the game. I could number off a couple of them, but for example, we don't have an elimination mode, we don't have the infected mode, we don't have a drift mode. I could go on and on with a bunch of different modes that were in previous Asphalt games that are no longer in Asphalt 9. And just there, if you look at previous Asphalt games, you have a ton to pick and choose from to just implement them in Asphalt 9. Now, one of the issues with some of these modes is going to be how it will work in multiplayer. For example, you wouldn't really want to put gate drift in multiplayer, so I can understand that. But in my opinion, it is a no-brainer to add something like elimination to Asphalt 9 multiplayer. It really changes how you think about the game, and in my opinion, I think you could combine this with Slipstream to make a really interesting game mode because of the way that Slipstream allows for tons of really fun comebacks. While I think the traditional Asphalt formula is well and good, and it will carry the franchise for years to come, I still do think that variety is a very crucial factor to maintaining a healthy player base and especially keeping interest. Now, it does make sense to add these things as the game progresses. You wouldn't want to just give out everything as soon as the game launches, or maybe some things weren't polished, and that's what I thought was the case with Asphalt 9, but it's been over 5 years and we still don't have a game mode that truly changes the way that you play the core mechanics in Asphalt 9. So again, something even just as simple as adding elimination or something like that would be so important to reviving player interest in Asphalt 9. So those are the two big things that will really shake up the actual mechanics of the game. But in my opinion, one of the biggest things that Asphalt 9 has sort of lacked in this past year is news and communication. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love our new community managers. Shout out to Muttley, I love you, bro. But we've seen a drastic reduction in the amount of news that we've gotten for the general population of the player base ever since we've stopped receiving those dev chats in Discord a really long time ago. Now, this is going to be something that I'm not going to be able to offer a whole lot of ideas and whatnot because, simply put, I don't work at Gameloft and I have no idea what's going on there. Now, what I can say is that I absolutely appreciated the dev chats on Discord, and I know that you guys also really enjoyed them when I made recap videos. You guys really loved those. I got tons of views, tons of comments, and it really made people talk about the game and think about different things, and also just bring the community together to talk about the game as well. And it's always nice to just have some transparency as well. So I hope that next year we can receive some form of communication similar to those dev chats, even just something that is more consistent, like maybe an extra blog post per month here and there, or maybe a simple roadmap. That would be really helpful for the community. And in my opinion, it is especially important to have better communication because it repairs the relationship between the community and the developers. I have seen, unfortunately, a lot of comments and a lot of messages on Discord that like to knock Gameloft and sort of talk about how there isn't a whole lot going on there, especially in terms of that relationship between the community and the developers, and even just some more form of communication that is more reliable or more consistent would really help repair that relationship. And in my opinion, that's always a good thing. So in my opinion, those are the biggest issues right now with Asphalt 9. And if you look at those objectively, honestly, those aren't like super crazy issues. We don't have anything game breaking going on right now. The game is still totally playable and I'm still enjoying it. So I just want to get that out of the way. I'm really just making this video so that I can also share with you guys what, in my opinion, are the biggest issues with Asphalt 9, and to hear from you guys as well. What are your current gripes with the game? What will make you come back? What will make you stay longer? All that sort of stuff. I definitely want to hear your opinions in the comment section down below, because I think hopefully next year we can see a sort of revival of Asphalt 9. Hopefully the devs are cooking up some stuff in the kitchen. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one.